Hello, everyone. Welcome to the best and worst of Walt Disney World, brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan your next Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. I am your host, Ryno Clavin, and in this week's episode, I'm actually joined by Deni Sunderley.
Hi there.
So it is just the two of us. I haven't said the topic yet, but we're gonna we're gonna try something a little new today and try to have some fun with this. I'm calling it Attraction Makeover. So it's this little game where we don't know which attraction we're gonna talk about yet before recording this. We just know some things. So basically, we are now in charge of giving an attraction a makeover. We've been given an unlimited budget from the powers that be at Disney, and they say, we're going to select an attraction. We're going to make it over. But like the rule of the game is we have to change stuff in the attraction, no matter what. Even if you think it's a perfect attraction, we're going to talk about like what would Disney want to change at some point. And then it's up for you to decide whether we've made some of the best or the worst decisions for this attraction. Or maybe we decide to rip out the attraction altogether and build a brand new one. I thought this would just be kind of a fun blue in the sky sort of a thing to do with this. So we are going to figure out what attraction we're doing. I have a list of attractions, and here's how we're going to do it right now until I figure out a better way to do this. But Deni, I want you to pick a number between 1 and 4.
Oh my gosh, between 1 and 4. Okay, do you want me? Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna go with 3.
Okay. So 3, that means we are okay. So now I'm going to have you pick a number between 1 and 10.
7.
Okay, that means we are going to be talking about Turtle Talk with Crush at Epcot. So here we go. Okay, this will be an interesting one. Deni, how would you describe this show?
Okay, it's a word that's come up recently in other shows, but I think it applies here. I just describe it as charming. It's just a charming, lovely attraction. It doesn't ask a lot of those who are going on it. There's no scary parts at all. There's no ride vehicle. It's in a smaller theater, and it's so much fun just being a grown-up in the back of the theater and listening to the kids interact with Crush. And it's something that's kind of enjoyable for everybody.
Yes. And for those of you who don't know, this is located in the Living with the Land area at Epcot. And let me see if there's any...
Living Seas.
Living Seas. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Next
that would
door.
make way more sense. What's he doing? He's a sea-based turtle.
Yeah,
he's riding
not a
that
land
current.
turtle.
Yeah. I was going to try and see... I can read you the description from Wikipedia if that helps anybody. I haven't read this myself before, but I'm going to do it now. See, this is part of the charm of doing this on the fly, too, is having to pull up all this information while we do it. So it says, guests are admitted to a movie theater-like room featuring what appears to be a large aquarium-style window opening onto an undersea vista. Children are encouraged to sit on a carpeted area up front so that they may have a better view, while parents and other adults sit on benches behind them. The host and moderator gives a brief introduction to the show, and then Crush swims down to appear in the window. Crush looks and sounds much as he does in Finding Nemo, complete with animated facial expressions and subtle gestures. With the help of the moderator, Crush selects children and adults from the audience and engages with them individually in dialogue, asking them questions and responding with quick wit and humor to questions about his life as a sea turtle or any other questions guests choose to ask. Crush individually chooses the children by saying what they are wearing. That doesn't matter. Other events may occur during the improvised conversation, including cameo appearances by other characters from the original films and its sequel. Though the format, structure, and rough duration of the show are consistent, the show itself varies considerably depending on the guest questions and comments. Now, this is because this is that sort of interactive thing where I don't want to spoil the magic, but the cool part about this is that it's happening in the moment, so Crush's like mouth and gestures move to what is being discussed. So that's sort of like Monsters Inc.
Laugh floor.
Floor. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. But so I think you chose a good word when you said charming.
Okay.
I don't hate it, but
Okay.
I don't like it's not something I really feel I go into without a kid. I don't know. Like as an adult, it's not something that I'd be like, Mom, let's go check this out more than once at least, maybe once to just
Sure.
see it. But I don't know. How do you feel about the we'll call it rideability?
Okay, yeah, rewritability. I would agree that going in without a kid is a little. I mean, it's totally doable. I've gone into Enchanted Tales with Belle in Magic Kingdom without a kiddo, and that's, granted, that's a little bit more, for everybody, but kids play a predominant role there. So yeah, I get it. Why it would make you stop and think. The last time I did it was several years ago. And then the first time was when our kids were younger. And my youngest was chosen to be one of those kids at the front. And Crush asked, actually, my youngest asked what Crush eats. What do sea turtles eat? Because the kids can interact with him and ask him anything they want to. And of course, kids being kids, you never know what's going to come out of their mouths. So that's part of the most charming part of the whole enchilada. But and so he answered, and then of course my youngest, when he asked my youngest, well, what do you guys eat? What do human dudes eat? And pancakes was the response. So that can tell you where my youngest's mind was at the time. It was all about the pancakes for breakfast. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm kind of with you. I don't know that I'd like to go back in again, but I might have one of my a little friend with me. One of my
Right.
friends.
Yeah. I think I feel like a certain way being in there, just like, I don't know, feels like creepy adult to me on the back bench, just watching kids at a park or something. I don't know. I don't want to make it creepy. If you go in there and you enjoy it, that's all you. But I'm thinking, all right, so we're going to start with, what are we doing? Are we ripping it out for something new, or are we keeping it?
Okay, so just off the cuff, I think I'm keeping it. I like its placement in the Seas Pavilion. There's such a heavy Finding Nemo overlay right now. So that's kind of hard, but I think we're keeping it. I like I was just recently in there before the temporary closure just to kind of check the outer area out, because it's actually used right now in the Dory, the the fish thing, the scavenger hunt that they've got going on. So I'm kind of the mind to keep it. What about you, Ryno?
I think I'm leaning toward keeping it as well. That like you said, like I wouldn't be devastated if this went away, but it does fit where it is well. So I think something to consider when we make over our attractions is, where is it in its perspective land, and this one fits in well being in the living seas. It's like what you said, you've got the Nemo attraction is there, and then you've got the photo op with Bruce that's kind of out on the first floor, and you got manatees out there that you can go see. The whole aquarium is out there, so it does make sense that you would be interacting with sea life in here. And it's not, the other part of that too is, if we were to choose to rip it out, I don't think that it would provide us with a great amount of room to put something new and different from it in there. And I find that I feel like Nemo still works very well. It's still very popular, so I say we leave it as well. So we're keeping it in there.
Okay, good.
So that means we've got to start talking about, so the story here. We've said it a couple times in this, that the story here it's very loose. There's not really the story of the attraction is kind of super basic, where you are literally just going in to see Crush and ask him questions about his life. So is there a way that we change that? What does that look like? It's a 50-year anniversary of this attraction. What does it look like? Is that what it's still going to be, or how do we plus it up and change it a little bit?
I don't know. I've got I grabbed it real quick. I've got the little booklet, Finding Dory's Friends. This is
nice.
the scavenger hunt that they're currently doing in the Living Seas Pavilion. And I did the scavenger hunt with my 6-year-old friend Asher back in March. And it was so much fun. And it actually took us into the ante room of Turtle Talk with Crush. And we checked out all the little, sea creatures, that kind of thing. So that was neat. But there isn't a part of the scavenger hunt to do in the actual theater itself as part of the show. So this is great in that it gets people throughout the entire pavilion and finding different clues and things like that to be able to add their stickers to their pages. I think it might be neat if you have to ask Crush a question, if you have to actually go into the theater,
Oh, yeah.
experience the show, and he's going to give you the answer to one of your riddles so you can add a special Crush sticker, maybe something like that. I love anything that gets kids interacting with the environment around them. So I think I would like to kind of plus up that scavenger hunt just a little bit.
I think you've given me an idea based on this suggestion as well. So you're looking at it in that essence where you weren't sitting down and experiencing the show. It's more of a walkthrough. So, and a big thing we talked about before, because we tried to break out the elements of an attraction, and what we look at is how guests interact with the attraction. And I think I'm thinking what I would like to do with our unlimited budget and technology is make it something like what you're talking about, where it's not an attraction where you have to devote time to it, where maybe you can go up and talk to him. Maybe we make it more than just Crush too, or maybe it's Crush and Squirt and whoever else, some of the other turtles, maybe it's some of the other Nemo characters, but let's plus up that interactivity and have people be interacting in throughout the theater, or even pull it out and into the other areas of the attraction.
Okay, so I grew up in the Northern Virginia, Maryland, DC area. So going into the Smithsonian on a weekend was something I do with my dad all the time. And when you went to some of the Smithsonian museums, you could get headphones for virtual tours. I mean, even back in the day, they were doing this. So what if, along the same lines of what you were just saying, what if the kids were given headphones or something like that, and Crush would talk to them as they go through the different pavilion, like you go see the manatees, Crush is telling you some different things about manatees. You go to the reef area, he is talking to you, the different area, the displays of all the real life Finding Nemo fish and things. He's telling you different things, facts and figures. It just would plus up the edutainment aspect of it.
And what's cool about that is I like that parts of that can be pre-recorded and they can be triggered by based where you are, or, so it's location-based, but then also perhaps like some parts, like maybe when you get close to the fish tank to look for specific things, it can lock in onto specific kids. So it can be like, oh, did you see the shark that just passed right in front of you? That's called so it can keep it very in the moment, but also like for the parts that it doesn't need to be in the moment, like when you're wandering the actual aqua base, like maybe it's more just general information and stuff. And then perhaps when you go back and you see Crush, he can ask you about what you learned and you can talk about that stuff as well. So it like brings it full circle, right? So
yep, absolutely.
I think I like that idea because I like that we've come up with something that encourages the learning, but it makes it also this interactive and fun element more so than like something like the Wilderness Explorers or anything like that. It's this adventure that stays with you as you go, and it adds that scavenger hunt aspect to it that you said that you'll enjoy so much right now. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Cool.
So what do we think about show? I wrote down like show elements. I wrote down queue. Obviously for the queue here, if we're making it more of a walkthrough thing, I'm thinking of combining show elements and queue. I'm thinking like, what if it's like to get to where you need to go to kind of start this adventure? What if we made it more of a thing like, this is crazy, but what if it's like an attraction you kind of slide into? So, like, when you first go to meet Crush, you have to slide down the current, like right? Because isn't it all about? Isn't it the
AC?
Okay, the AC. I wanted to call it the AOC, and I'm like, I believe that is a senator. So,
yes.
No. So I'm thinking like there's something that could be like some sort of element that pulls you into it that you like initiate and you go through, so you've gotten your headphones that we've designed here, so now how do you like get to Crush? Because originally when I was thinking it was still in the room, I was thinking like the seats or the floor or something needs to add a little bit of that wave kind of feeling to it, because you know that's all you think about Finding Nemo the movie, Finding Nemo the musical. You know, they always talk about you go with the flow, and there's gotta be a flow to it. It's all about kinetic energy. So I was thinking a slide would be fun, but I don't. That could be a huge liability. I don't know. We don't have the lawyers today.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we do have the lawyers, Ryno, because we have an unlimited budget, right?
We do.
We can do whatever. We'll put lawyers on retainer and they'll advise us, I'm sure. No, it's neat that you say that because Bruce's Shark World is right next door, which is the interactive play area for kids. And that's one of the things they get to do. They get to climb inside of Bruce and take a picture in his mouth and all that jazz. So maybe the two areas are combined. What if, okay. So there's a hallway in between Bruce's Shark World and Turtle Talk with Crush. And that's where you walk into the gift shop and then exit the pavilion.
Yeah.
What if you had to climb up and there was a tube, the slide tube goes over that walkway. So the kids to get up into Turtle Talk with Crush, and not every kiddo will want to do this. And yes, it would have to be absolutely accessible for every kiddo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
For sure. But they would be able to get up and in there and then glide through the tube over the walkway that leads you out of the, over to the gift shop and then, eventually out of the pavilion, lands you in Turtle Talk with Crush in the ante room. And then you head into the theater, or maybe you're just walking on through, like we've said. So they land there and then continue on through. And of course, parents, they don't have to go up the slide and down the slide, that kind of thing if they don't want to. But
you've given me another idea, I think.
Okay.
So you said tube, and I started to think, well, what about, and we at Disney World have like magic bands, so they know, they can pair the ticket. What if Crush can stay with you through the use of the magic band? So it's like you have your own tour guide. So when we talked about him being able to see the headphones and everything, that's how they do it, through the magic band. And so when you slide through the slide, one of them comes with you. And so like you get to go with them on the slide.
That'd be awesome. And they would know your name, right?
Yes,
because
yeah.
You could have that assigned to your magic band, or at least maybe it comes up at some point in the walkthrough exhibit. Like when you're leaving Small World, it reads your magic band and your name is suddenly up on the screen there at the very end, the last room. So maybe it could be something. We have the technology. Yeah. It's possible.
Yeah,
we can do it.
Well, we've got the budget. I mean, they already gave us the budget, right? So, I also love the idea that you said where, there was like hallways in the walls and about kind of breaking the areas apart and kind of making them all one area. So I think there's an opportunity here where I think there's a nice lesson about the oceans all being like interconnected. Okay, so we're like bringing it around to that sort of thing, and I think that it would add some more energy to it and give it that science museum vibe, but in the best of ways, or aquarium, I should say. But no, I think like this attraction, because for right now, the way I picture Turtle Talk with Crush is I think about it as this one room that you go in and you sit on a bench and the kids are in front of you and you're kind of away from everything. It's separated. It's basically in its own classroom, and then that's it. And like, that's not what you want,
No, that's true. That's true. No, I love that. I think there is a way to make it work and have it all be a cohesive. I mean, certainly we have the footprint for it. That pavilion is ginormous. So I like the tying together of the two. In another suggestion, and this is very just personal to me, in the interactivity, I would love to have Peach. She's my favorite Finding Nemo character. I'd love to have Peach the starfish stuck to the glass and talking to the kids as they walk on through, or maybe she could be a narrator along with Crush or something. I just think more Peach is what this world needs right now.
Well, what if it's even a thing where, like you talked about it being the Finding Nemo, like scavenger hunt, the Dory's friends, like, what if that's your goal? Is like you're trying to meet all of the friends while you're in there. So it's,
awesome.
Crush is the main guy, but he wants to bring you from friend to friend. So
Yep.
it's almost becomes like a choose your own adventure where it's like it'll say like, oh, well, you just talked with Peach. Now you got to go find. I don't know anybody else's name in this movie,
Exactly.
but
Mr. Ray,
yeah.
you need to go. Yeah. And that's it. And what if, I mean, we've got the Finding Nemo characters superimposed during the ride. So sees with Nemo and friends. So maybe, maybe that effect is used on the other side of the aquarium as well. And the characters pop up as the kids come over, and the RFID picks up on the fact that they're here, and they get to check that off in the book and keep on. I found Dory, check, and off I go to the next friend. I think that's really cool.
I think no Disney attraction is complete without talking about merchandise, though, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
not just the merchandise, but a gift shop as well. But as we continue to think about, I think there's this like new age merchandise that comes around with us, like in Galaxy's Edge. The idea. I don't know how much to fruition this idea came to, but the idea was that all the droids would be able to interact with the different parts of the land, and so you wear him in your backpack, and after you've built a droid, he or she, and it 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 will make noises in different places, trying to communicate with you as you go, that sort of thing. Or I think about at Universal Studios, you have the wands and in the Wizarding World areas. Is there something we could do with merchandise here in this area that makes this a little more interactive? Because we've talked about the magic bands being something that lets you in, but I'm thinking like maybe there's like maybe what you're wearing, what character you've gotten, whether it's like maybe it's a fin or something that you wear, the kids could wear. Maybe that defines like the type of character you are. Like if you get something Bruce related, it'll always be about how sharks affect the environment or something,
Oh,
or like, and maybe there's a message as you go up, and everywhere you go, it'll be like, remember, fish are friends. So everyone just keeps saying that to you as you go. I'm
I
just
like that.
thinking new age stuff,
No, I like that. Of course, you say new age, and I immediately go back to My Pal Mickey. And how
Yes.
cool would it be if you had My Pal Crush and
Yes.
you had a little guy with you, that plush with you, who could, pick up, again, it's all about RFID, right? So, he picks up on where you are in the pavilion and starts spouting off facts and figures and ways, conservation tips, ways for you to be able to, help promote clean water when you go back home, all that jazz. That'd be
Yeah.
really neat.
And it would be cool if there were like pre-programmed phrases that, that were just the ones that it could say normally as well. So like, I believe that's what My Pal Mickey could do too. So when you were home, he could still speak. But like, if it was something where it'd be like, don't forget to cut up the soda rings or something like that,
Right.
stuff like that. And like, so.
Or have mom and dad do it. Don't have the children.
Oh, yeah. The doll that's telling you to get scissors, brought to you by the same people that made Chucky. So
Fantastic.
I'm imagining too, like a crushed turtle shell, but I don't know if that's like morbid.
Oh,
I was thinking,
wait.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No. That's where all I got.
Okay, so Captain America is my favorite superhero, and the backpack that has the shield on the back?
Yes.
What if it was a backpack with Crush's shell on the back? That'd be
I love it.
awesome.
Yeah. I love that. I love that idea. I love, I've seen kids with like the sunglasses where it's like kind of the clownfish coloring on it and stuff like that. And we've already said interactive plushes and things. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think there should be some like snack options over here as well. Like there needs to be like seaweed something or other you can get. I don't know about sushi. That might be morbid. Being like,
no fish
well,
sticks.
you've met all your friends and now you can eat them too. Like,
no, fish are friends, not food.
So I think there'd be a fun opportunity to do something where like fish food, like maybe there's a fun treat over here and it's something that's meant to look kind of like I don't know, like what a fish would eat, but it's like, edible for people. But I'm just thinking. I always love when there's tie-ins to stuff like that, especially when it's like I'm thinking like Bing Bong's sweet area at Disney California Adventure. How
Yep.
he like it had the merch, but it also had the cool like drink stand area and stuff.
That is the best shop, Bing Bongs. I love it. You went to healthy things, and I immediately went to things like Swedish fish.
Yeah, yeah,
So we need gummy fish,
uh,
and we need all the gummy sea life,
yeah.
and
We need gummy jellyfish for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a Sunday,
Mm.
or maybe there's a really cool snack. I haven't researched snacks from Tokyo Disney Sea, but what if there are some really cool, highly themed treats that we could bring over from Tokyo Disney Sea? Like that would just be.
Oh, I bet they do stuff so neat there because they like there's been like the mochi, the alien
Yes.
heads and stuff like that. And I'm like, where is that here? I want
We-
stuff like that here.
Yep. We need mochi.
Yeah. So I would love to see that sort of stuff. I'm just going to fix my camera really quick. Sorry. I saw it was going out of focus while I was talking. For those of you watching, for those of you listening, who cares? But no, I think we're off to a really good start here. Let me ask you this before we finish up. What about the exterior? Are we doing anything to the exterior of the Living with the Land? Do we like how it is? Oh, Living with the Land. Good gosh.
You're so close.
I wanted to be on land, and instead we're here in the water. So I did what I could do.
It's all good. I think for kids these days, I think it's good that we've got some IP out front. The seagulls are just so cute.
Yeah.
Saying mine, mine, mine. And there's that really cool photo spot that's out there that with all the characters from Finding Nemo, and I'm constantly seeing families lined up there taking pictures and selfies and all sorts of things. So I think it's okay. I am an Epcot purist somewhat, so anything that looks retro fabulous is good in my book. So if we wanted to throw it a little bit more old school, I'm down. But I think I'm okay with the way that it is right now. What about you?
No, I agree. I enjoy the seagulls out front and the splash the water makes. I say that we use our money and we take that stuff that works and we up it a little bit, and we maybe add some of the sea lions from the second movie who are yelling at Gerald. Is that his name? Who's trying to
and Becky. We need Becky somewhere.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
In a plastic pail.
Yeah.
And that'd be great.
I love how it's like you're starting on the lip, like for that you're like hovering on water, and then inside you're kind of all underwater. So I definitely like that idea of like you getting pulled into the water. So I'd add a little bit of maybe some like misting things out there. I know those are always so popular with everyone, but
sure.
I want to feel like maybe some bubbles, because I want to feel like you are going underwater when you are going into there even more.
Yes. And bubbles always equal party.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that would be great. One thing about the queue, I would say the last time I was in there with Craig, and that queue is so dark. And it's not just your eyes are getting used to being inside dark. It is dark, dark, dark.
Yeah.
So I think for accessibility, and I just, whoever navigating the twists and turns of that queue, I would say we can afford a little bit more electricity every month and turn up the lights just a skosh.
Oh, I say let's pump it up. Like, let's make it, instead of it just being this kind of like dark thing, and maybe that's what it's supposed to be. You're going deep into the sea, but I want to see it be a lot more. I want to pump up that color, that saturation. The sea life is a colorful thing, and I feel like right now there's kind of just like one color palette being used. I want some neon, and I want more of the clownfish colors, the Dory colors. We are talking specifically about Crush, but I want to see more of that. I want to be surrounded in their environment. So I'd say like take what we've been doing and just we're going to plus it up everywhere.
Absolutely.
Take whatever it is now and multiply it by 100, 1,000 if you have to.
Yeah, because if you don't walk in through the gift shop, you actually don't get to Turtle Talk with Crush without going through the Seas with Nemo and Friends. So you kind of have to go on the attraction to get to Turtle Talk. So I view them as all one.
No, you're right.
big
It is
blob.
the same queue. Yeah. Yeah, and
So,
I think it deserves more if that's the case. If
yeah.
it's just that one queue and you're not going through the exit, then we definitely need to do a little bit more with that. So, well, thank you. Anything else you can think of before we go?
I think that's it for now,
Well,
dude.
dude. Well, there you go. That is our attraction makeover of Turtle Talk with Crush at Epcot. And it's up to you now to tell us if we have made some of the worst decisions that you have ever heard to make this over, or if those are some of the best. And what are your some of your decisions? What are your some? Oh my gosh, what is
Choice
wrong with me? What are some of
ideas.
your choices, ideas, suggestions? How are you making this over into a brand new area? Are you ripping it out? Are you leaving it? Are you plussing it up? You have the money, but you have to make changes. So, what are those changes? Please let us know. If you're watching this, leave those in the comments below. And if you are watching this and you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click the bell. You get notified whenever we do any sort of content. And when you are planning your next Disney vacation, again, we do ask that you please consider booking with Dreams Unlimited Travel. It will cost you nothing extra on your vacation, and they're experts. And I was trying to really quickly come up with some sort of pun, but I am not good on the moment like that with puns. Like they'll be jellyfishing you. No, I can't do it. Yeah. I was
Dear.
trying to think of some sort of like vacation thing, but they're great. So
Yeah.
doesn't cost you anything extra. They'll deal with all of that for you, and they can help you out and get you all set. So that is going to do it. Thank you, Deni, for having this conversation. I hope
Thank you.
everyone enjoyed this new type of topic. We will return with another episode of The Best and Worst of Walt Disney World. Bye, everyone.